Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today is November 8th, so I'm not going to say too much about my state of mind because I think if you're subscribed to me and you live in the United States, and probably if you don't live in the United States, you know what's going on here. And it's a terrible place to be right now. So we're doing something a little different. We're gonna have a little bit more fun with some more TikToks that I have found that just felt like I wanted to give my opinion on. So that's what this video is, and yeah, it's been a time, so I feel like I don't need to explain further. But let's watch some TikToks, shall we?
I just watched a video where someone was like, I have read 200 books this year. Have you? Also, what? I'm sorry, okay? No hate to the people who can do this, okay? But I looked it up. There's been 297 days thus far. How? That means 97 days. Okay, you have to be reading a book almost every single day to do that. Like, I don't understand. How can you fully enjoy the book? By rushing through it. You're like, boop, 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 done, boop, 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 done, boop, 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 done. Not, oh, wow, this is so cool. This is so cool. I can appreciate this. Is this an unpopular opinion?
I mean, I don't know if it is, but it should be. People read at different speeds, ma'am. And some people listen to audiobooks sped up, and some people have more time than other people. And just because somebody's read a lot of books and you haven't doesn't mean that like they're missing out on anything to do with it or that they are lying. I mean, she didn't say that, but she did kind of imply like how are you doing this? How? There's always going to be books that you don't absorb as well as others, and I mean, I don't need to sit and ponder every single like little thriller with the kind of formulaic type that's still really entertaining, but like you don't need to like dissect it. Additionally, I'm sorry, I again, I don't want this to sound harsh in any way, but like a lot of the books that people on Book Talk are very, very heavily interested in don't really seem to require that much kind of thought. A lot of these like super smutty, spicy romances and a lot of these like YA fantasies, like I can't see how they would require all of that much like what she's kind of saying about needing to like digest it and say, "Oh, this is cool. What is that?" Like not every book requires all of that. And if you spend your time reading those kinds of books, there's no reason why a person can't be reading that much. And just, I don't know, it just feels like one of those things like a person's weight. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, we don't need to comment on it either way. If you think someone reads too slow, if you think someone reads too fast, like, we don't need to comment on it. That's all.
Since we're all gonna die, there's one more secret I feel I have to share with you. I did not care for The Godfather.
What?
Did not care for The Godfather.
How can you even say that, Dad?
Didn't like it.
Peter, it's so good. It's like the perfect movie.
I don't understand this. I really don't understand this at all. I don't know how you can read a whole book and then not read the epilogue, like, on principle. Like, that's what it kind of seemed like. Like, she just didn't, like, she thinks she's making a stand or something by not reading an epilogue. Like, the book's not done yet. At least that's my opinion. A lot of times epilogues are just like chapter whatever, and maybe they take place a little bit further in the future. But most of the time you're not reading the whole book. I mean, you're not. If the author took the time to read this, and I mean, I enjoyed it. I always support a DNF if that is what you choose to do. So obviously, if you got to the epilogue and you don't want to read it because you didn't like it, okay. Weird, but okay. But, like, why would you not want to know how the story plays out and how the characters continue on? It's just a weird take.
So, if it's on this side, I mean, we have a different bike, but like, ta-da, and then like, it's fine, because the bike's not going to fall over. It's on a kickstand. See how much it moves? It's crazy. This would be easier. But I guess the bike also might fall over. Honestly, it would work either way, and it would be easier if they're on the kickstand side. But if they're on this side, then it's really not going to. This is like enough of an angle.
Okay, I don't need to watch the rest of that one. So I did a little more research, I guess, into this author after like seeing that video on my For You page. And I'm glad. It seems like it's okay. Like she's found this guy that can help her write her biker romance despite not knowing anything about bikes. But I just couldn't help thinking if this was like a gender swap and a man came to a woman and said, "Hey, I need you to help me figure out the logistics of this sex scene on this thing I don't know about." Because it does seem like that's how she approached it. And I don't know if she asked some things about like the like motorcycles in general to start, and then she kind of like moved into this once she felt it was comfortable. But either way, I mean, I guess not either way. If it's that, then sure, because he's, you know, consented and all that. But like, I just can't imagine that this would be like something that we were all like following. I mean, not me, but people were interested in knowing about how she reached out to this guy that rides motorcycles and said like, help me write this book, and like I need you to see if this sex scene is like physically possible, basically, and like act it out for me. Like if that was a man asking a woman, I think there would be a lot of outrage. And I think there kind of could be in this situation. I don't know. I have mixed opinions because I don't know this author and I don't know everything about how this all came to be, but like that was kind of the vibe I got. Feel free to correct me, and if I offended this woman, I'm sorry. I don't mean to. That's just how it's come off. Don't understand this. Why do you need that? I mean, I guess you could say that there's lots of stuff that we have that we don't need, but like I truly don't understand. First of all, am I just old? Because like that's just like an MP3 player, an iPod from like 2007. So I don't know. So first of all, Kindles are not that big. Just take your Kindle with you. Like it's just not that big. Second of all, cell phones, guys. You don't have to have an entirely separate device for reading on the Kindle app, because that's all you're doing. It's not like it's an actual like Kindle branded whatever e-reader with the font and the like page looking screen. You know what I mean? It's just like you're reading on your phone. So just read on your phone? I don't know. And then, like, the way that she's showing, like, oh, look, it also can play movies, and it can also play music, and so can your phone. I just feel like this is really extra and kind of, like, just overconsumption. Like, we don't need this, guys. If I'm out in public and I didn't bring my Kindle and I find myself waiting for something, that's when I just pull out my phone and read on my phone. I just think this is completely unnecessary and wasteful. I just hate this. I like hate this so much, and I don't want to make this, you know, these types of videos just about how much I hate book talk books that are just toxic, glamorizing toxic and unhealthy and borderline abusive relationships. But like, your obsessed and possessive boyfriend, like, I know it says book boyfriend, but like, it's a guy in the book, like, he shouldn't be doing that. He shouldn't be like grabbing your hips and pulling you astride. Did he touch you, your date? And she was at her auntie's birthday party. And he stayed up to make sure that she was home because he thought she was with someone. Like, nothing about that is sexy. All that screams is like mistrust and like a precursor to abuse. And I said what I said, guys. Like, I'm not gonna apologize for thinking that this is like gross. I think a lot of people can tell the difference between like fact and fiction and all of that, and like can separate this from how they actually expect to be treated in a relationship. But like, there's plenty of people that can't, and like these books just keep getting marketed to younger and younger audiences because of Book Talk and the fact that TikTok is so heavily used by like Gen Z. And yeah, I can't really stop the way that I feel about this, and just too many people that haven't had enough lived experience to recognize that that's not an okay way to be in real life. I just feel like the lines can get blurry if you just don't know. This next one is one that I've seen a lot the past couple of days, and so while this girl is certainly not the only one with this sentiment, she's the one that got lucky enough to be in my video.
Editing Laura here. I'm about to talk a little bit about US politics. If that's not something you really want to hear about right now, please go ahead and skip forward. I will put a spoiler warning on the screen so you know when to tune back in.
I'm following Kaylin's lead on this, and I'm going to tag her down below. I'm seeing a lot of hatred today, and I get that people are upset, but Book Talk and Bookstagram, of all places, has been created by book lovers and for book lovers to be a safe space. And I just want people to know that no matter who you voted for, that I respect your viewpoints and you're welcome here. And I don't hate you or hate anybody. Yeah, so you're welcome here.
That's so sweet, I guess, of her to say. However, I think that it's perfectly reasonable to not hold a safe space for people who voted against your very existence and having rights and taking care of our neighbors and not forcing religion on people and not setting us back like 100 years. I think the fact that people are so there's plenty more that are going the other direction, but like the way that there's so many people up in arms about like how they didn't understand, like, we don't need to have the same opinions to get along, and I'm like, you do when it's morality. Like, I can't wrap my head around people not understanding how I wouldn't hang out with somebody that thought it was okay to like murder someone. And I don't think I should have to. I don't think I need to tolerate their beliefs. And I actually read something earlier today that it was called the Paradox of Tolerance, and it is a philosophical concept that suggests that if a society is tolerant of intolerant ideas, intolerance will eventually take over. I know that sounded like crazy, but it makes perfect sense to me. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be intolerant of your hateful views, and my life and just general internet presence is not here to have space for that. And I don't think that's unreasonable. There's a reason why people that are saying we should all just get along and whatever are on the Trump side, and that is because they don't know what they stand to lose. I just said this whole other thing, but I decided to cut it out because I'm trying to stay light as can be right now. So I feel like if you're watching this, you know where I stand and my beliefs, and we are here to respect all of those who treat us like humans and respect their fellow human. What a time. One last thing, reading is political, always political, and if you think that politics need to stay out of the book-related social media platforms, you really are privileged. And this is from someone else who's very privileged, but luckily have the knowledge and education to see that it's not all about me. So I am just gonna leave it there. I swear I'm done for the moment, but anyways. Sorry if the lighting's a little different. I had to change the battery in my camera, but we're off again, off and running.
When he grew up, he started working with his father. But later, he left and began traveling around the USA. He was greatly impressed by the scenes of the working slaves and he worked as a postman.
Okay, I actually love this because literally not long ago, I started to listen to Hear One Moment by Leanne Moriarty, who is Australian, and her audiobook is narrated with an Australian accent. And I'm so used to listening to audiobooks on 2x speed that I was almost having to focus. And like an Australian accent's really not that hard to decipher. Like, I don't know. I was having the struggle of my life. I ended up buying a physical copy of it because I wanted to read it, and I was just like, I can't understand, but if I slow it down, then I feel like it's taking too long. It's like I can process, so I feel you, girl. Like, this is definitely relatable. And it's definitely not the only book I've done that with. There have been some with people who have different inflections in when they speak that didn't, like, necessarily work for my ears. I don't know.
Here, I thought everything was good between us.
It was. Before I found out you had sex with my boyfriend.
Yeah, okay, so I don't feel like... Okay. So I think that however you want to keep track of books that you have on your want to read, on your read, on your whatever shelf is your business. But I don't, like, why would you say you read a book if you didn't finish it? To me, that's not finishing a book. That's what, something I would rather put and notate that I didn't finish it. So, like, for me personally, and people can probably relate, I read a lot of books, and there are some times when I don't remember if I've read a book or not. And I want to be able to look back and see if I read it, if I liked it or not, and simply marking it as read without a rating or any sort of like notes about it, I'm going to assume that I finished that book if it's marked as read. And I'm not, if I marked it DNF, then I know that I didn't really care for it. And like that, it can be helpful when trying to recommend to people and stuff. I mean, again, organize however you want to, but it is pretty silly to me to mark something as read if you didn't actually finish reading it. And this is from a hardcore DNFer. I have no shame in DNFing, and I'm happy to say that I DNF'd a book when I DNF it. I don't pretend that I finished it.
Speak up when I hop by the car, I promise I'm gonna speak up when I hop by the cut, I promise I'm gonna speak up when I hop about the cut, I promise I'm gonna make a scene. Got like
Y'all are so tired of me talking about Colleen Hoover, but like, no. The reason people don't like her isn't because they want to be different and, you know, not like other girls. I love being like other girls, so that's not it for me. I just think that her books are bad and problematic, and you've heard me talk this to death. So I mean, I will link my like nice little video where I did a deep dive on It Ends With Us and some other Colleen Hoover books. Yeah, so I don't really know what else to say about that one besides, like, you don't have to make excuses for why you want to read something, but also, like, if other people give you valid criticism of that author, don't think that it's just because they're, like, you just don't want to like it. You know what I mean? You don't want to like something that's popular. No, I don't like it. I don't care if I like it or not, but I don't like it because of XYZ. I feel like y'all know what I'm saying. Okay, so those are today's TikToks. I will hopefully have some more exciting content coming soon. I think we can all relate to just needing to take a moment for ourselves this week and bracing ourselves for what's to come. So I love you all. You guys are great. And yeah, if you need to bitch or cry, I'm always here. I'm always here. Anyways, if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you would. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!